What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Showtime is busjacking with King's Critiques back for Spy Family. And the last one, well, we got to see how strange Damien's mother truly is. But we also got to see some weird connection between Damien and Anya of them maybe being better friends. Good question, suppose we'll see. But you can let me know your thoughts on all that stuff before the episode or cap it for the end. And of course, hit the like button, subscribe, run through limit the watch time. And that's sad. Let's get into it. Who the fuck is Austin? Oh, Austin is the teacher that got ambushed by the busjacking people. Because again, like I said in the last episode, well, they don't arm teachers and such how they need to. But again, different topic. Man, that's also the sign to a bad marriage. Sleeping in different beds. Like, I'm sorry, but even if you've been married for 20 plus years, if you sleep in the, different beds, you're not in a good relationship. I'm sorry. I get when you're like 60 through death age, because you don't want to roll into each other and knock the other off the bed and then they just turn into dust. But in your 50s, you're not that broken down, especially if you drink milk every morning. Your bones aren't getting ready to crumble. Or is he drinking water? Because if that was water, he might need to get his pipes checked. I'm pretty sure he doesn't live in Michigan. Meanwhile, Loids plotting because that's one of his kids' teachers. Ow. Okay, what favor are you going to get when you're being paid monetarily? Unless he does pull the whole, you don't have to pay me for today's session, but if I ever need your help or something. The fuck do you mean he was lying, Fiona? Would it be crazy if it's actually his bad marriage that's affecting him more than the busjacking? Like maybe when he got home his wife didn't actually give a shit that he was alive or dead? Like maybe that's what's bothering him, not the busjacking in general, but the fact his wife did not care at all that he was alive? Because wouldn't that be crazy that the first thing I comment on is about the way their marriage does not look like it's very good because of the separate beds? But that's actually the main reason why he's having this bullshit happen? What did I say about at least 2 decades? Sure, honestly, if I could waste time getting a fucking fancy piece of paper, I could be a psychologist. Maybe that's because I'm insane. So I know the signs of other people having shit wrong with them. Pause. I want to extend that thought, actually, but that's also probably why, I use this channel as something similar to that. Teaching people things, telling people things, regaling my own experiences with things. Because, while I might not have a fancy slip of paper to get me a fancy job, at least I can, put out what I believe in things compared to what I'm seeing in this. Whether it's just random thoughts or being perverted, or, more often than not, having a good mindset on things. Because I kind of pegged the issue in this case right from the beginning. Yeah, okay, so his marriage is not good. And Lloyd probably is going to do the smart thing of... Because here's the thing. While you might think one thing is what's wrong with you mentally, it could be something completely different. And that's why I'm probably less susceptible to my therapist than other people might be. Because here's the thing. I know how the whole therapy thing works. People tend to try and reach out to other problems. People try to reach out to other solutions. But here's the thing. I know enough about my own life, without even telling the man everything, that I kind of know what a lot of my problems are. And while a lot of people don't want to believe that the things I know will fix my life would fix my life, pretty sure the things that I think would fix my life would fix my life. A lot of my main problems is abandonment and loneliness. Therefore, having a trustworthy woman in my life would be a fix to that. Another one of my problems is anger and frustration with everyday bullshit. And yeah, that would also help that. Another thing that would also help it would be, I avoid getting a real job because I know I would end up in prison in at most a month if I could handle more than a week. Because the one job I did have, I kind of visually trained myself, sharp thing to the back of the wrist, but I got caught by my boss, so I got fired from that job. But imagine if I didn't have a slight bit of nepotism into even getting that job. Getting a job these days is basically impossible. So imagine if I got a job, got frustrated at it, and took it out on myself again, just from some visual training, and then I get caught by somebody. But before I stop that thought process, I will say that's why I always encourage you guys to hit the like button, subscribe, and all that stuff. And need to stream more because I actually do get paid from Twitch, even though it's not a lot. At least they pay people, unlike the scumbags here at YouTube. Or TikTok and Patreon, I can get money from. That's why I also always encourage you guys to go subscribe over there. $5 a month, maybe the occasional $3 because I got charged people at the end of the month. And helps me out. Y'all get to see some cool stuff. But that's enough from me shilling. Let's get back to it because I would hope I find a wife that doesn't terrify me. But honestly, if she terrifies me in the fun way, that's at least not so bad. Something tells Loid that that is not the case. Something, because he spoke to coworkers, says that that might have made things worse and pushed it forward, but not been the start to it. Honestly, if my wife looked like that, I'd probably be pretty scared too. Actually, you know what she kind of looks like? She kind of reminds me of that lead cunt from the last season of Dan to Dan. That keto woman or whatever the fuck their names were. She kind of reminds me of that bitch. And for that, she should take a roundhouse kick to the face. Because you never know when she might be plotting something. Don't know, she might be worse than Melinda. Honestly, sometimes they just know how to draw an unlikable character. Because, again, a lot of the time, characters with this kind of look to them are very unbearable. They're kind of like the anime version of a Karen. Because there's like 3 static haircuts that the Karen type would have. And yet, it's basically the Japanese version of that. Yeah, usually therapists aren't supposed to have their patients go through this kind of breakdown. Like, usually it's supposed to be tears, not panic. Of course. Do you have a small dick and she's unimpressed? Is that what it started with? I mostly make a joke, but honestly, that could be a big reason why marriages fail. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, even old women are shallow as hell like that. Okay, so he knows the exact reason of why everything happened. Missing an anniversary is definitely a big one, and if he can't remember that that happened to even apologize or try to make up for it, yeah, I could see why she's been pissed. That stuff is just, like, typical, busy working man kind of stuff, but the other thing, yeah, that I kind of get. Okay, that last thing, who doesn't? Like, a lot of married couples, one person has a problem with the other's mother. Every relationship, pretty much. Like, it's very rare you see a relationship where at least one person of the married couple does not have a problem with a parent. The woman that got away in my life, I had an issue with her mother, and low-key, high-key, I wish I could beat the shit out of that woman so the curse I have could be broken. And yes, I do very much believe that that's why my life is such garbage. Because other than being a piece of garbage, I can't really understand why things happen how they do. But, hey, if people have the initials AW and they lived in Erie, Pennsylvania at One Life, then, it might be who I'm looking for in either case. Does that make me sound crazy for still hoping to see the one woman I haven't seen in almost 20 years? Yes, it does. But since that was my last lease on love, well, I kind of gotta be hopeful to at least get closure. Find out she's married, find out she's dead, whatever. Damn. Yeah, that's... I feel like for forgetting the anniversary, that might be called for once. But any more than that, I feel like that's uncalled for. Damn. To be fair, I still see you and Yor actually getting together by the end of things, unless, like, one of you die tragically. But while this is a dramedy, I don't think that'll happen. I could be wrong, and for those telling me to read the manga, don't spoil if that's how the manga ends, but Fiona with her 2 cents. And now for part 2. And apparently Yor is getting invited to a party. How's that gonna go? Probably not well. And I know this is one of those unneeded, possibly perverse kind of things to mention, but while Yor, Fiona, and Sherwood might take the top 3 spots for being the more attractive characters in this show, I will say her friends, or, well, co-workers, aren't too bad themselves. Especially, and this should come to no shock as anybody for me personally to say, Sharon. Probably the best of the latter 3 characters. What is that supposed to mean? Like, doesn't she do her job anyway? Weren't you 2 the slowpokes on this one? Meanwhile, she gets invited to an outing with her coworkers and she's just taken aback. Right. Yor is a terrible drunk. Hopefully she doesn't let anything slip out that she isn't supposed to, because, yeah, she is a terrible drunk. I actually do remember that time when her and Loid actually fought under the guise of, it being playing to Anya. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you still do anything. Not that you did in the first place, but... Why are they so against Loid? What did he do? Okay, but, like, all the shit she was just thinking of considering Loid, minus, having to deal with people's bullshit at a job, that's the kind of thing I wouldn't mind doing, being the one to take care of all the other miscellaneous tasks that the wife doesn't have time for. And yes, I am openly saying, and I will say time and time again, I wouldn't mind just being a house husband, honestly, because there's nothing wrong with that in theory. And honestly, there's a lot of women that, like the whole independence thing. And hey, as long as they're not unfaithful, that's not a bad thing. Because there's a difference between, independence and being a hoe. I'm just saying, like, well, this is my career goal to do all this stuff. Because, listen, think of any general retail experience. I wouldn't be the kind of person that would not be able to hold back and somebody would be on the floor and I'd be fired an hour later, at least. Because I might not be strong, I might not be intimidating, but listen, if I had some person, man, woman, whatever the fuck they think they are in between, complain to me that, like, they were 1 nugget short of their 10-piece or something, and they probably really just ate it when they got outside and then came back in showing fucking 9 in their box, I would be punching these people. Also, partly why, kind of like in the school situation, maybe fast food places should have security. Because, like, you see all the crazy videos of people doing certain things and causing chaos in, like, Chick-fil-A and Popeyes and stuff. But I'm just saying, if they had a security guard, one armed with, again, one of those neat little tasers, less people would be doing shit. Or maybe they'd come back with their own real pew-pews. But even so, yeah. I would take a security job at a fast food place. That I would. Because it would be fun to shut these people up and have legal reasoning to do so. While you're technically correct and she's aware of it, hopefully her drunk ass doesn't say that. But the blonde and the... I'll classify it as redhead just to make life easy. are very hateful of Loid for some reason. Meanwhile, the cute one over there is just like, I don't talk much to my husband, but he's not a complete asshole. Technically, you're both deceiving each other. And also, that guy back there is probably an informant for something. Never mind, the guy back there is probably Loid in disguise. Okay, you have a fair point on that. Because if your husband is late to a date and then laughs it off, good chance he might be banging somebody else unless he says it's a work thing. And even then, because again, I'm not on the whole modern day hate that women have for men, but I am on the all-time belief of, yeah, men cheat a lot. So those are the types that, yeah, okay, I get this for. I do. Kind of like how I said in the other episode about the guy who was coming from west to east to do some performing for a peace treaty thing. The one thing I did believe from the beginning, and was true, is that he was fucking somebody else's wife while cheating on his own. The way they're all talking so casually about killing their husbands when they do something wrong, that's not okay in most cases. Like, again, the only time that is okay is when you discover your partner is cheating. And that's only if you can confirm it. Like, I saw this video about a woman who assaulted her boyfriend because he had his arm around another woman with a fucking tree branch or something. Not sure if it's real, not sure if it's AI, but the point of the video was clear. And there's also you can't prove that that was cheating because it might not be. However, if you see, your husband balls deep in somebody else, man or woman, or whatever crazy shit in between, or you see your wife bouncing on it crazy style with another person, yeah, okay, that is permission to hurt them very much so. Even if it might be theoretically illegal, which I still think it shouldn't be. Like, again, if you catch your partner cheating in the act, if you catch your partner in the act of cheating, rules should just be thrown out the window, because do it once, do it many times. They may as well just be... That just might be my belief, though, and I haven't had a relationship in a very long time, but I have been cheated on, and I more or less wrote both of those people out of my life. So, that's random to say. Might leave them a little concerned. Just like, what do you mean you get murderous thoughts all the time? Are you okay? I don't really think that's a good excuse. I mean, granted, they'll take what they can get probably, but... Yeah, no, they didn't take the low-hanging fruit on that one. Like, she was just trying to say anything that might, make them agree, but that didn't work. Even the redhead's like, yeah, if that makes you murderous, you might need some help. Ironically, isn't your husband a therapist? Yeah, no, she's way too drunk to talk to people in a normal fashion. But didn't you just say earlier that y'all are in a peaceful relationship? Meanwhile, they just all move on from that topic of conversation because she went too far with it. No, you're fine. Just eat your salad and shut up. So, is she about to pass out, or are their lives going to be in danger? Drunk Yor with a knife, that's not good. I would hope that even he realizes that she's drunk and, should calm down. And he gives her permission! Bruh. Again, this is a good way to use censorship, because they don't normally do it, but it's actually funny. Like, I don't think I've ever seen them censor blood in this show. And this is, I hope, just for the sake of the joke. But this would at least be the better way to censor out blood than what Netflix did to besmirch Detective Conan. And I know that's like the fourth time I brought that up at least. But again, when you use Chinese-level censorship for someone being decapitated, you don't want to see a fucking cum geyser out of somebody's throat. And I don't even mean in like the H content way. I mean literally the hole where their head used to be, you just see white spraying out. Netflix, fix your shit, please. It is just so stupid and ignorant. Like, Detective Conan has gone on as long as One Piece, and y'all are killing the content's name. Like, do something like this. This is better. Pixelate the blood. It's still stupid, but it's better. Or again, think of the last scene in that shitty anime School Days. You know, after both of them, or no, not School Days, Higurashi. I mean, I guess School Days, they also had a similar scene where they were both lying on the floor, blood everywhere. Like, imagine what that looks like. Stop censoring everything. Literally, nothing should be censored, ever. No censorship. Like, if you're gonna censor something, have a double-ended thing. You know, have one version be the good version, the real version, the authentic version, and then have an option to turn on censorship. Kind of like how subtitles work. You know, you should have an on and off button for subtitles or for censors. You know, again, whether it be to blood or whether it be to boobs, there should be no random bullshit stickers or something over titties. That's another topic I'll talk on real quick since I'm talking about bullshit, dipshit, fuck shit censorship. Like, literally, over the past 6 years at least, it's been getting worse. Oh, censor this thing, censor this thing, censor this thing. That song talking about somebody's pussy, that's fine. But censor everything to do with visual media. What? Y'all are stupid and ignorant, and we need to get back to normalcy. Like, again, there used to be 2 different versions of, you know, things that showed off any sort of lewd content. The real thing that got released like a month or 2 after the actual episode that was censored. But now it's very hard to find the real content of anything like that. And again, anime that'll bring up for a specific case of fucking stupid censorship, Ayakashi Triangle. Where's our uncensored version of that? Let me know if it exists. Because I watched the first episode up until the end, and then there was dumbass stickers over titty, and I was just, nope. Because again, casual censorship, beams of light, smoke, gas, that kind of thing, that makes sense. But just, sticker, stupid as fuck. You know, the mosaic over blood is fine. Turning it white is stupid. Because especially in scenes like this, you wouldn't even be able to tell other than, like, the outline. And then, what would it look like? Oh, so even talking to her boss was imagination. Yeah, he's even afraid, though. It's like, please don't take our silverware. That's expensive. And again, I'm saying that's probably Lloyd listening to them in the background. Owner? Who the fuck are you talking? Hello? Yeah, if only they were that lovey-dovey. Honestly, she might be able to, like, make shit more normal more often. Like, fuck, the what-ifs of, like, that, one animation? Listen, if they got that going more often, maybe she'd, like, be able to think more rationally, honestly. Again, I go back to my own thing of... Just saying, if you have somebody who makes your life better, they can help make your life more reasonable. She should not be allowed to have alcohol ever. And now she just basically said what I did. And now they're just turning around from being upset that they are lovey-dovey to teasing the fuck out of her about possibly being lovey-dovey. Yeah, like she went from stupid drunk to angry drunk to whatever this is. Meanwhile, she realized that they've never kissed, and actually, I wonder if that'll be the bit when she gets home drunk, thinking about that being a normal thing and how he'll be able to handle it. And again, it's even worse if he's in the background listening to her, which I'm pretty convinced that he is. Wonder if they all bullshitted her about that's normal, because it should be normal, you know? Fucking classic 50s, 60s vibe. You know, one of them gets home while the other's already been home, and, you know, welcome home, smooch, that kind of thing. Because listen, that should be more normal. Honestly, if that was more normal these days, less people would probably be tempted to do one of the more fucked up things you can do as somebody in a relationship. In the wifely vibe, yeah, you're not wrong. In general, well, that one thing was probably closer to how she actually is. So we're about to go into the thought process of he was already there and heard everything. Is he about to meet her on that thought process, or is she going to do it drunkenly or pass out halfway? I could see that, honestly. That 1 meter. You know what? I'm not even going to ask. Nope, she passed out first. Smooth. And the second one, yeah, like the first time you got drunk. So she exploded with emotions. Crazy how that worked. Anya's trying to sleep and she can't. She could probably hear everything that's going on in yours mind right now, honestly, even half asleep. So was there an after cutscene thing? Because there was no skip outro thing. Meanwhile, that one. Okay, what does his head look like, though? I want to say a rutabaga, but I don't even know what a rutabaga looks like. But that's probably because it's like the most left field vegetable to come to mind. And the other kid's head actually looks more like a chestnut than an acorn. The one whose head looks like a top, that one looks kind of like an acorn. Meanwhile, Damien's jealous that his friend is starting to become friends with Anya just based on the whole space thing. Again, though, I will say this is a reason to be jealous of being a child because it was so easy to make friends back then. So super duper easy. You know, you just had to like share a similar interest and then boom, you're friends. Nowadays, it's so difficult to make friends even if you share a similar interest. Because, like, it's not so easy to just, like, start a random conversation. You see somebody wearing, like, a shirt or something, you know, go to Barnes & Noble or something, fucking see them reading a, you know, manga or something, and just talk about that. Not that easy as an adult, because you, like, worry you might be pushing into their personal time and space and such. And you can't just randomly ask for somebody's phone number to, like, chat at a later time. Because, like, you can be friendly with people, but it's really hard to make friends with people as an adult. You know, that's why, like, I'm friendly with people at fast food places I go, but I don't think I can never know how to escalate it to, like, be hangout buddies or kind of thing. You know, that's the kind of bad thing about being old as dirt, is very hard to make friends. Very, 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 very hard to make friends. If reincarnation is real, hopefully, you know, I can just live out my childhood years and then, you know, be hit by a train before I have to become an adult. Honestly, this adult shit, it's for the birds. Oh, this up we go. But we will get to that in a second. For the time being, gonna do our outro stuff of number one, Dora should not drink. Clearly. Like, she went from this place, that place, and the other place in her whole way of things with her coworkers. Granted, at least they entertained her enough to want to invite her again, so she has more friends she can talk to and stuff, that's good. You know, one of the few times where the statement I just made actually could come into play is getting a job and making friends with your coworkers and going to have a drink afterwards or something. Which also comes down to that is not so good for people who are not alcoholics. It's really terrible. Like, everything I see in life really just promotes to be, you know, do bad behavior. Because, like, on the one end, I see a bunch of things that, you know, show that you can interact to make friends or get a lover if you do bad things. You know, get a job and interact with your coworkers and maybe make friends or find a girlfriend through that. However, the ironic thing is you're not supposed to date your coworkers in like 90% of jobs, I'm pretty sure. That doesn't mean that somebody isn't getting banged on a make table every now and then, but it's like supposed to not be a thing. And I only say specifically that like I did because I have had, people I have known who were at one time coworkers who had done that kind of thing. And honestly, it's one of those many examples of, man, I wish I was anywhere close to attractive or smooth enough for that kind of thing. But I am, matter of factly, and have been for a majority of my life, a fat, ugly fucking chud. But on the end of just making friends, that's another thing that's at least more likely to have a job. If most of your coworkers don't fucking hate you. Because, yeah, shit gets awkward sometimes, and, well, it's not always a joyous, awkward experience like it was for your there. But, yeah, that's, again, also why I try to do this as my job more. Because at least if I can, like, talk to similar content creators and stuff, whether it be on the anime, the gacha, the Pokemon spectrum, regardless of which of the three it is, or even just some of the miscellaneous, vlog things I do. Kind of like on TikTok, I plan on uploading a video of me trying whiteout for the first time in about a decade. I could swear it's been longer, but it says it was discontinued in 2019, and who might argue? Shit's still good. But point is, how does one make friends as an adult? Because, like, my therapist tries to tell me some things, and I really don't even think those things will work these days. Because, say I go to a place to hang out, try and, like, get into some D&D games, which I'm pretty sure I would have to pay for, which still makes me want to vomit, honestly. Like, having to pay to play with people is just stupid as a whole. Like, I get it if you're a pathetic simp that wants to pay to play with an e-girl, that's one thing. But to pay to play a tabletop RPG that for many generations has just been a fun, enjoyable thing that people could do together to, like, mess around, have a good time. Again, think how Stranger Things started, and I guess in theory ended. It was meant for people to just hang out and have a good time together. I'm ranting too much about my personal life, though. As far as the situation in the show goes, Anya's got a couple points on her with things, and yours at least becoming more of a normal person, even though she's a terrible drunk. Will these things help either of them out? Who knows? And Lloyd surprisingly didn't listen in on yours conversation, at least not that he mentioned to us. But that all being said, let me know your thoughts on everything to do with things I have said, things to do with the show, or whatever else might be in your mind, as well as, of course, about other shows, movies, etc. I should check out this season, next season, or in general. Hit the like button, subscribe to the other channels in the description, ring bells like Facebook, follow Twitter, Blue Sky, TikTok, Patreon, and Twitch. Thank you to the patrons that have currently subscribed to me. Your names are marked in the description down below. Again, eventually, maybe I'll put up a end card once I get that figured out. I'll keep saying that as much as I remember, and maybe I'll eventually have done it and can stop saying it. But for now, that is not the case. Unless it is by the time I edit this, but we'll see. And until next time, it's been the busjacking with King's Kritique. So, ta-ta for now. Peace.